Now the state of Bengal we are going to cover. In the previous lectures we have covered the rise of autonomous state introduction, Hyderabad, how the Hyderabad state was formed, and how the Carnatic was formed. Now we are going to do Bengal, how Bengal was formed. Bengal was formed and it was founded by Murshid Kulib Khan in 1717 and he ruled till 27. The province or the Suba of Bengal emerged as an independent autonomous state in the first half of the 18th century and thought the sovereignty of Mughal emperor was not challenged practically independent and hereditary authority of the governor was established by the two men of exceptionality, Murshid Kulib Khan and Ali Vardi Khan. So they were the two great leaders. Murshid Kulib Khan and Ali Vardi Khan were the two great leaders of the Bengal, and initially it was independent state, but then it became an hereditary authority as Murshid Kulib Khan died. The governor Ali Vardi Khan, after Murshid Kulib Khan, his son was made, but his son was killed by Ali Vardi Khan, and Ali Vardi Khan then ruled the state of Bengal. Why the people wanted to rule the state of Bengal? Why East India Company was very much interested? Because of the fertility of the soil and the trading position. The Bengal was covered with the ports, and to do trade it is very important that the state should be near the port, and Bengal was near the port. It had ports, so the East India Company wanted to establish their factories over here, whereas the fertility of the soil was also very good, as that time there was an agrarian society. People were more involved in agriculture activities, so the fertility of soil was good, more crops were grown, and Bengal wanted to be there because they were wanting to put taxes on it and wanted to earn money. Bengal in the 18th century under the Mughals. Bengal province administration. Bengal in the 18th century comprised of Bengali, Bihar and Orissa. Three states were in Bengal: Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. And it was a very integral part of the Mughal imperial systems, like Nazims, Diwans, who were directly recruited by Mughal emperor only. It was totally in the Mughal control. The Diwan was separately appointed in order to keep control over the Nazims. The main officials in Suba were province were Diwan. Diwan was one of the main administrator, and Diwan was known as the head of revenue administration. Nazims were known as the executive head of the other matters or the civil military administration, whereas Bakshis were known as the military paymaster of the Subha, who used to see military. Bakshi. Kotwal, as we see, Kotwali Thana, Kotwal, so it was a police department. Qazi, justice dete the, or Vaksi, Navis, they were the collections of news were there bearing political significance. So administration was divided between the different people. There was decentralization in the empire. We can see Diwan used to see revenue, Nazims were the head of the master, civil military administration, Bakshi, military paymaster of the Suba, Nazims were doing executive head, Kotwalis head police head, Qazis were doing justice, and Wakai Navis were doing the bearing political significance. Now the Suba was divided into Sarkars. Sarkars were further divided into Pragnas. Sarkars was further divided into Pragnas. At local level, Zamindar had maximum control over local people and administration, because they were mostly they were mostly attached to people because they were at the lower level. The system acted well in the 17th century, and in 18th century gradually the relationship of central authority with the province administration became loose and distant. It merely received a tribute, and gradually even tributed became irregular. Slowly they stopped giving tribute to the Mughal empire, and then they declared that independent state. Bengal under Murshid Kulib Khan in 1770 to 27. Now we are going to deal with this. The independent state of Bengal was founded in 1717 by Murshid Kulib Khan. also known as the Muhammad Hadi. Mushid Kulib Khan had another name, that was Muhammad Hadi. These things are small, but it is very important. You get it in your MCQ questions. That was it so or was it not so, like this. So Murshid Kulib tryst with Bengal began in 1700 when Aurangzeb sent him to Bengal as Diwan, when he proved to be successful revenue administration. So first time who had sent Murshid Kulib Khan to Bengal? It was Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb sent him to Bengal to collect Diwan, and he was a very good administrator. He successfully collected revenue very well, and he was appointed Diwan of them. As a Diwan and Subedar of Bengal in 1717, Farooq Siyar appointed him as the Subedar. After Aurangzeb, now Farooq Siyar also appointed him as a Subedar and governor of Bengal only. So, thus holding the post of Subedar and Diwan at the same time, he was given the unprecedented privileges of holding two offices of Nazims. First was Diwan was given to Murshid Kulib Khan by Aurangzeb, and Subedar was also the position which was given to Farooq Siyar. Farooq Siyar gave it to Murshid Kulib Khan. So two positions was given simultaneously to whom? Murshid Kulib Khan. Positions of Subedar and Diwan of Bengal to Murshid Kulib Khan. He had become now unprecedented privilege of holding two offices of Nazims and Diwan simultaneously. The division of power which was maintained throughout the Mughal period to keep both the imperial officers under control, but through the check of the balance was thus done away with. This helped Murshid Kulib, who was already known for his efficient revenue administration, to consolidate his position further. He now declared himself as a Nawab of Bengal, because Mughal Empire had started declining, and there was a weak central authority, and as the central authority becomes weak, the regional power started revolting, and in the same way it happened. Now Murshid Kulib Khan declared it independence and formed and declared himself as a Nawab of Bengal. As a Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Kulib Khan became the first independent Nawab of Bengal, and he shifted his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. Murshidabad was a new capital now of Bengal. It was done by who? Murshid Kulib Khan. So Dhaka to Murshidabad was the capital, proved to be capable ruler, and made Bengal more prosperous. As Bengal was prosperous, and he made it more prosperous. Rationalization of land revenue system. What was the things done by him in the land revenue system? We will deal with this now. The main problem which was faced by Murshid Kulib Khan was that how to collect revenue. Revenue collection was a main problem. So he adopted two measures. Firstly, he has reassumed all the Zagirdars and converted into the Khalsa land, that is the state lands, that no one will get Jagirs now. All the lands will be the state lands. And he gave the disposed of his fresh Jagirs in the wild province of Orissa. And from whom the Jagirs were taken, now they were given new Jagirs, but in the lands of Orissa. Secondly, he replaced the Mughal Jagirdari system with the system of revenue farming, or Izara, or the Malzamani system. So in the Mughal province, first it was Jagirdari system they were following, that whoever used to do work, they used to get Jagirdar. And Jagirdar was a land which was given to them, but now it was removed. Now there was a revenue farming. You have to do revenue farming, Izara or Malzimani system. This was the contract system under which the Izardars, that is the contractors, were granted. Now the revenue collections were done by whom? Jagirdars, and Jagirdars were given land in return of that. Now the Jagirdari system was abolished and revenue farming was introduced. In revenue farming was that there were central contractors, middlemen were there. Now they were the one who were going to collect taxes from the farmers. No Jagirdari system was there. So contractors were who? Who were these contractors? It was also very court politics in this. because in choosing the Izardar, Kulich Khan is known to prefer the Hindus because he was more trustworthy. He thought that they were more trustworthy. And the second or the third generation of these contractors were came to be known as the Zamindars. So these only the Malzimanis or Izaras who used to collect, they were only known as Zamindars after two or third generation. And the contractors was also chosen by जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं ना, हम लोग बेट लगाते हैं, तो वैसे ही कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स चूज होते थे. राइज ऑफ न्यू पावरफुल एलाइट क्लासेस अंडर मुर्शीद कुली खान. हम लोग देखते हैं कि कुछ पावरफुल एलाइट क्लासेस का इमर्जेंस होता है मुर्शीद कुली खान के अंदर. जैसे कि एक hereditary zamindars were largely extinguished and new official capitalist class emerged. In this way, he created a new class of landed aristocracy in Bengal, whose position was later confirmed by permanent settlement in 1739. Further, Kulib Khan was able to raise revenue collection by paying attention to details, but at the same time, in matter of revenue collection, he also uncompromised the extent of leading to growing importance of monetary and commercial elements. So what happened that as he has abolished the Zagirdari system and middlemen, he has started that contractors were now going to collect the revenue. New landed aristocracy had begun now. A capitalist class emerged because because the money was only in the hands of few, and this led to the because what happened, the peasants were forced to pay that sum of money and the middlemen used to collect more money from the farmers. This led to oppositions against the farmers. So revenue farming increased more pressures on zamindars and peasants, that leading to importance of commercial element. Rentless pressure, it created rentless pressures on the zamindars to pay the obligation. Even if there is famine or something, they did not consider that, and you have to pay that money. And because of the obligation of paying the money, there was an emergence of Jakshet, house of the Jaksets. So Jaksets were the one who used to give loans to the people, and the people were even obliged to take loans because they had to pay the money, otherwise they were killed or their houses were taken, lands were taken. So they used to take loans from the Jakset brothers, and the Jakset brothers were mainly the one who used to give revenue to the farmers. But they used to give revenue in on the, like, you have to pay more amount of money for that. As you take tax, you pay more money to the bank. In the same way, Jakset brothers were also doing the same thing. After 1717, we see that Bengal link with Delhi remained limited to sending tributes, as the link with Delhi had totally declined slowly, and the last governor of Bengal was appointed by the Mughal emperor only. Sujauddin Muhammad in 1727 started ruling after the Murshid Quli Khan. So Murshid Quli Khan के बाद आगे Sujauddin Muhammad. तो Murshid Quli named his daughter son Sarfaraz Khan as his successor, but Sarfaraz was ousted by his father Sujauddin Muhammad Khan. तो क्या हुआ ना कि मुर्शीद कुली खान के बाद मुर्शीद कुली बोले थे कि मेरे बाद सरफराज खान, जो मेरा डॉटर है, मेरी डॉटर का बेटा है, वो रूल करेगा. बट सरफराज खान को रूल करने नहीं दिया गया उनके पिता के द्वारा, और सुजाउद्दीन मोहम्मद जो है वो रूल करने लगे और कंट्रोल ले लिए बंगाल और प्रोविंस स्टेट्स पे. बट सुजाउद्दीन के डेथ के बाद 1739 में सरफराज खान रूल करना स्टार्ट करते हैं, बट इनको भी बैटल फेस करना पड़ा था अलीवर्दी खान के साथ. और क्या होता है, सरफराज हार जाते हैं और अलीवर्दी खान जो थे वो जीत जाते हैं इन द बैटल ऑफ घेरिया दैट हैपेंड इन 10th April 1740. Now Alivardi Khan started ruling after emergence of victorious in the Battle of Gheria. Alivardi Khan made himself as a Nawab with the help of banking family of Jakset brothers. तो अलीवर्दी खान किसका हेल्प लिए थे आने के लिए? जैसे किंग मेकर हम लोग देखते हैं कि जुल्फ़िकार खान, ये सब के बारे में पढ़े हम लोग पिछले लेक्चर्स में, वैसे ही जगसेट ब्रदर्स हेल्प करते हैं अलीवर्दी खान को रूल में आने के लिए. और इनके रेन में हम लोग देखते हैं कि मुग़ल एम्पायर के साथ टोटली ब्रेक डाउन हो जाता है और 2 इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ इंपीरियल कोर्ट्स हम लोगों को देखने को मिलता है इनके सिस्टम में। पहला था पेमेंट ऑफ एनुअल ट्रिब्यूट टू द एम्परर एंड अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ हाई प्रोविंशियल ऑफिशियल्स बाय द एम्परर वर नॉट visible during Alivardi's reign. However, like the Nizams of Hyderabad and Nawab of Wazirs of Awadh, Alivardi Khan also kept alive the fictions of Mughal sovereignty. जैसे कि पहले क्या था, मुगल्स डिसाइड करते थे कि कौन आपके वजीर रहेंगे, बट ये अब क्या था, वो लोग अलीवर्दी खान टोटली मना कर दिए थे और ये अपना डिसीजन सब खुद ले रहे थे। एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट फेस्ड बाय अलीवर्दी खान, अलीवर्दी को बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट्स भी फेस करना पड़ा, मराठा से, अफगान से, क्योंकि मिलिट्री जो था उन लोगों का ज़्यादा सुपीरियर था। अलीवर्दी खान फेस 2 एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट्स ड्यूरिंग हिज रिजीम, वन फ्रॉम द मराठास, पहला वो लोग मराठा से फेस करते हैं और दूसरा वो लोग अफगान से फेस करते हैं। अलीवर्दी रूल फॉर 15 ईयर्स 15 was spent in fighting with Marathas menace। 15 साल तो वो लोग मराठा के साथ ही लड़ते रह गए। और उसके बाद हम लोग देखते हैं कि मराठास जो थे अटैक कर दिए थे 3 to 4 टाइम्स बंगाल को 1742 से 1751 में। Now in 1751, Alivardi finally signed peace with the Marathas because he agreed to pay an annual chauth and parted with Orissa on the condition that Maratha will not enter Alivardi territory in the future, because it was a long war and only there was depletion of economic resources. So to end this war, Alivardi Khan signed a peace treaty with the Marathas, and they said that okay, you can collect annual chauth from this region, and he even parted away with Orissa, but on the condition that they will not enter Alivardi territory anymore. Alivardi faced another formidable challenges was from the Afghan general Mustafa Khan. Mustafa Khan also was a very challenging role he had to play, because he did invasions in Bengal. So Alivardi had to fight against Marathas and Afghans to put 7 strains on the Bengal government. In this fight, we see that in 1756, Alivardi died and nominating his son Siraj-ud-Daulah as his successor. So after Alivardi Khan, who was said that who will rule the state? It was Siraj-ud-Daulah who was going to rule the state now. But it was not as easy as it looking. Alivardi may have said that Siraj is going to rule, but there were contenders of the throne. Those were the Shaukat Jung and the Ghasiti Begum. Both Ghasiti Begum was the Alivardi's daughter, and Shaukat Jung was the Fazudar of Purnia. They both said that we are the contenders of the throne. This resulted in intense court factionalism, and support was offered to different warring groups by dominant groups in the Nawab court, comprising of Jagseth brothers, Umi Chand, Raja Ballabh, Rai Dullab, and Mir Jafar. They were the important positions in the court, so they were supporting different groups. Some were supporting Siraj, some was Ghasiti Begum, some were supporting Shaukat Jung. So Zamindars and others who were also opposed to Siraj, they seriously de-established the administration of Bengal, and advantage was taken by East India Company, because the whole administration was busy fighting that who is going to rule. This led to conflict and weakening of the empire, and East India Company took the advantage of this conflict with the East India Company. We see Farman was issued in 1717 that had become a perpetual source of conflict between the company and the Bengal of Nawabs, because in the Farooq Siyar reign we see that because he was cured from the disease of groin, so he was granted Farman of 1717 the Farman said that you are going to get trading privileges in Bengal region, but it was not liked by Siraj-ud-Daulah at all. And Nawabs also did not like this. The breaking point came when English company, anticipating another round of Anglo-French struggle, began and strengthened the fortification of Fort William and mounted guns on its wall. The Bengal of Nawab had objected to the 3 fortification time again, and the conflict became particularly acrimonious during Siraj's reign and led to military conflict. What happened that the East India Company were wanting to establish its factory, so what they did that they fortified Fort William, which was in Bengal. This thing was not liked by Siraj-ud-Daulah, and he waged war against the Britishers. So he captured the fort, and he detained many of the Britishers in a small room. Because it was a very sophisticating environment, they died, and this news went to the ruler, or the who was the governor of East India Company that time, and he didn't like this, and this led to black hole tragedy. This is only known as black hole tragedy. Now, the dissatisfied noble of Sirajkot, particularly the Jagseth, Rai Durlab, Amir Chand, or Umi Chand, joined hands with English to ousert Siraj and install their prestige, leading to Battle of Plassey conspiracy of 1757. We see that because Siraj-ud-Daulah was not happy at all with this rule, and this led to Battle of Plassey in 1757. Now, the Battle of Plassey we are going to cover in the further videos very nicely, but now we are just covering rise of autonomous states, how the autonomous state has rise. That's it. We have to just study right now that much only. In the next lecture, we will cover Awadh, how Awadh state was formed. Thank you everyone. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.